I'm a product of a lot of you in our communities that are in so desperate need right now of leadership. I was born and raised in El Paso Heights. I went to Grant High School. From there, I went to community college, a long ways away up in Weed, California. After leaving Weed, I went to Cal State Hayward. I received a bachelor's degree in political science with a minor in business administration. But prior to graduating from college, I was very fortunate in that I had an opportunity to sign a professional baseball contract with the New York Yankees. So I had a chance to go out and play a little baseball and do the things that a lot of the young men in our communities aspire to do. We have role models, but they tend to be the kind of role models that are very, very, very difficult to emulate. Professional athletes, entertainers, and then we have some of the other more negative role models that we tend to imitate as well. I had to make that transition myself. I wanted to be a professional athlete. But after going down that road, actually the injury that I have now was sustained while at Grant High School. I was a 3-sport athlete. I played football, baseball, and Daryl Roberts, I used to do this too. And I was a pretty good athlete, but there are so few of us that really have a chance to make it in professional sports. My wife, on the other hand, also went to Grant High School. She was a little more studious than I. She went to UC Berkeley. And then after that, she went to pharmacy school and received a doctorate degree in clinical pharmacy from UC San Francisco. That it is more likely that we will have an opportunity to do something like that than to become a P. Diddy, a Jay-Z, a Snoop Dogg, or a professional athlete. As a professional athlete, I had a chance to play with some of the world's greatest athletes. One of my friends at the time was a guy named Deion Sanders, who was more recently elected into the Hall of Fame. But one of the lessons that I learned from him, and it wasn't something he said, but it was something I saw, and it was that, they got extraordinary athletes all over the world, and as good as I thought I was, he was better. And sports is a very, very brutal business, and it's like life, Either you do it or you don't. There are no excuses. So after I determined that sports was not going to be the career for me, I went back to college, I got my bachelor's degree, and I was recruited to go to New York in an executive training program that some of you may be familiar with. There was a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness. And Will Smith played a gentleman that went through the very same program that I went to. In fact, he and I went through the program at the same time. Okay, and he was a few years older than me. But that training program prepared us and prepared me for a business opportunity that took me to Wall Street. So I was executively trained on Wall Street to help manage money and help make recommendations to people in terms of how to really build a foundation, an asset base. And that's something that additionally is lacking in our communities. We typically, people like myself and others, when we aspire to get out of our communities. We aspire, when we're younger, we want to do better, so we think that better is going away from where we grew up. The El Paso Heights was one of those communities. Young people in Oak Park and Meadowview. When we go to college affords us a different lifestyle than most people that don't. And you start making more money and you think you want to be somewhere else. But if you really think about what happens is we take all of the training and the nurturing that we had as young people coming up, and then we take the new talent of going to college and that education, and then we take the resources that we develop as a result of the jobs and the money away from the people, who are most like us, who need to see us. They need to hear from us. So when I started my company, after the executive training program, I worked for a company called Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. It's now called Morgan Stanley. It's a very well-known financial institution. I was, in that program, I was the #1 junior account executive in the country for Dean Witter. That was a very high honor for someone who had no training. My family, I was the first person in my family to go to college. But I started a company called New Phase Development. That has been my business for 24 years. Some of the notable accomplishments of that company, some of you know about the Sacramento Urban League. Well, my company built that building that the Sacramento Urban League is in. Not only did we build it, we donated the land for the building. That is a tremendous resource for our community, something that I think is still not being utilized to its full capacity, but nevertheless, it's an asset, and I'm very proud to say that I helped build that company. Another project that we've worked on is right around the corner on 34th Street. When you get off the freeway, there's a new subdivision being built in this community. My company is doing that as well. When you leave here, you might see it. If you got off the freeway on 34th, you would have driven right into it. So we have had numerous projects throughout urban communities, not just in Sacramento, but in the region. And I'm very proud to say that when I came back with a focus to employ our young people and others in our community, and to help really build an economic base and a voice for communities that I felt needed leadership, needed strength, and more importantly, they need us. Thank you very much.